Do you think China wants to invade Taiwan?
We think it would be a terrible mistake to force that through force or anything of that nature. There would be repercussions for that globally.
Trump's top aide on foreign policy may think his Taiwan warning to Xi Jinping will show strength, but it risks misfiring massively and triggering exactly the backlash Washington wants to avoid. Xi Jinping has warned the United States not to mishandle the Taiwan issue, yet in response Marco Rubio has chosen to push back publicly, all but provoking Beijing on its most sensitive red line. With lines like "in a perfect world," Marco Rubio is trying to toe a very thin line on the most sensitive topic in US-China ties, balancing tough talk on Taiwan against the need to keep relations from collapsing. After Xi's blunt threat, Trump pointedly avoids talking about Taiwan in public, leaving it to Rubio to step forward and announce Washington's Taiwan policy on camera instead. Rubio insists that US policy on Taiwan is unchanged, even as the White House's official summit readout quietly skips any mention of Taipei, highlighting a striking gap between words and optics. Taiwan publicly thanks Marco Rubio for his vocal support, but questions now swirl over whether Trump himself is ready to sideline or even abandon the island ally to keep his fragile China deal alive.
President Xi stressed to President Trump that the Taiwan question is the most important issue in China-U.S. relations. Talk to me about that moment when that was discussed.
Well, they certainly feel that way, and they always raise that issue, and we understand they raise that issue. From our perspective, any forced change in the status quo and the situation that's there now would be bad for both countries. One of the things the Chinese emphasize, which we agree, is strategic stability in our relationship, a constructive relationship, but also one that establishes strategic stability so that we don't have misunderstandings that could lead to broader conflict. And so we always reiterate the point. We hear them when they say this. We always respond by saying anything that would compel or force a change in what we have now would be problematic. And we would certainly, our policies on that have not changed. It's been pretty consistent across multiple presidential administrations and remains consistent now.
Did President Xi request to President Trump not to sell weapons to Taiwan?
Well, that topic has been discussed in the past. It did not feature prominently in today's discussion. We know what their position on that is already. Remember, Congress plays a role in that process as well. U.S. policy on the issue of Taiwan is unchanged as of today and as of the meeting that we had here today. It was raised. They always raise it on their side. We always make clear our position, and we move on to the other topics. We know where they stand, and I think they know where we stand.
Do you think China wants to invade Taiwan?
Well, I think China's preference is probably to have Taiwan willingly, voluntarily join them. In a perfect world, what they would want is some vote or a referendum in Taiwan that agrees to fold in. I think that's what they would prefer. Ultimately, it's featured prominently in President Xi's mandate in the time he's been in office. He's made clear that what they call reunification, that's what they call it, is something that has to happen at some point. We think it would be a terrible mistake to force that through force or anything of that nature. There would be repercussions for that globally, not just from the United States. The pace of growth in the Chinese military over the last 10 years has no precedent, none. I mean, just what they've done with their Navy alone over the last, they've put billions and billions and billions of dollars in their system. So it's, you know, you look at it, I mean, it's hard to ignore how fast and how big. So I don't think it's just limited to Taiwan. I think they have ambitions to ultimately be able to project power globally the way the U.S. does now.